It's not that bad, they would have to have zero
Real.
resistance for the LOF.
Trombone is different than trumpet.
How's everyone doing?
They're not doing it today.
That's just one I had never talked to.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, I swear. The last one that I dented was way worse. It's just bad.
I really want to audition, but I'm not going to audition
For what?
for any good band.
Don't judge me, I'm judging myself enough already. It was because I was trying to get like spit out of the tuning slides. So I slightly tilted it backwards and just fell out.
Okay, let us do it, I guess.
Will the slideshow be shared anywhere? Because I have to run at some point.
There is no slideshow.
Oh.
The recording will be though.
Okay, fine.
Am I in the frame? I am. Hello friends. We were hoping for a bit more people, but that's okay. The purpose of this is to show some tips and tricks on how to use Musescore, because you will be using it in your degree in some way, shape, or form. If you're going to be taking conducting, you're going to be needing to work with scores with multiple instruments. If you're taking jazz pedagogy, you're going to be making lead sheets, I think. If you're doing
Jazz ped is transcriptions.
Okay. If you're taking romantic analysis in later years, you need to write
Score reductions.
score reduction. So it's a useful thing to do. So our first topic of the day is how to download Musescore and which Musescore is better for you. So let me connect Owen here. Oh, I should probably introduce our panel. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm the executive assistant of Peer Guides. Happy to be here. This is Owen, my roommate.
Hi,
Owen.
Fourth year competition student. I'm also taking the MRA program with Fanshawe. Yeah.
He plays.
This is Gerald.
I also want to be competition. I am not a fan shop.
We have Ricky.
Fifth year bachelor of arts, I just play jazz. I don't know.
Fourth year music education. I played trumpet.
Cool.
Alright, so I don't know if anybody here actually needs this information, but I thought I'd go over it just in case, especially considering that there was a new update recently for Musescore. So I'm just going to walk you through how to download Musescore in the first place, just in case. So you're going to go to musescore.org, not .com. Musescore.com takes you to like the place where everybody uploads their stuff, but you're going to go to musescore.org, which is going to be this page here. And you're just going to go up to the download tab at the top. You click on that, and then you're going to choose, make sure you have the right operating system. So hopefully you should know whether you have Windows or Apple or Mac. If you have Linux, you definitely know that you have Linux. Otherwise, you're just going to click on the one that works for you. So I'm going to click on Windows. It's going to download it. You're going to go into your File Explorer, which you might need to search in the search bar. Pull up your File Explorer, go to Downloads, and it's going to have the installer right there at the top, which you can open. Now mine, because I already have it installed on my device, I wasn't brave enough to delete Musescore off of my computer for this example, because I wasn't sure if it was going to keep all my work. But even if you have it installed, and you run the installer again, all it's going to do is just check to see if it needs to be updated.
Usually needs to be updated.
Which usually does, especially because, again, there was that update recently on how they run their things. So, it's going to download, and it's going to create a shortcut for you of Musescore 4 on your desktop somewhere. And then it's going to open the Muse Hub, which is a brand new thing that they added recently, I don't know when. But this is basically their interface for interacting with all the different things that they do now. The most important thing for you to know is that you can open Musescore either by double-clicking on the shortcut on your desktop, or you can go through the hub, click on the library, give it a second to load, and then you can launch it from there. Cool?
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. I could just work on here.
Yeah, go for it.
Give me a chance. So actually making something. Let's pretend I have a super hard assignment. I need to write a transcription of Mary Had a Little Lamb for saxophone. I'm going to open up a new score, and right off the bat, it lets you choose which instruments you want to do. I highly recommend changing the family to all instruments, because the common section doesn't include all of the instruments, but it should include saxophone. the instrument to your score, you just click this little arrow, and it does, and then you're done. Okay, cool. This is just the default thing, but let's pretend I want my score to be in C major. I would use these to basically add anything. I use these palettes on the side. If I don't see the palettes on the side, whoops. If I don't see the palettes on the side, how do I open the palettes on the side? I'm used to 3. I click view, and there's palettes. And the palettes on the side right here. If I don't see what I'm looking for, it's probably in the add palettes category if for some reason I'm writing for accordion. The less common ones can be found here, but I just want a key signature. And it's going to be in C major. My favorite way is drag and drop, but you could also just click it and click the key signature. The only issue here is that the key signatures are in concert pitch. Of course, we know alto saxophone is not in concert pitch. So to make it in C major, I actually need to go into C minor. That makes no sense. But there we go. And let's pretend I want my my time signature to be in 6/4. Same idea. I just click it or I just drag and drop it. I do actually want it to be in 4/4. Now note input. There are 2 ways to do stuff typically in Musescore. You can either go around and click stuff, or you can use your keyboard. Using your keyboard is significantly faster, so we're going to do that. The letter N takes you in and out of editing mode. If I am currently trying to input the letter G, I am pressing G. Whoops. Oh, it does work. Why does it work? Is 4 is better? It doesn't work on 3. Oh well.
Gotta switch, man.
Yeah.
It does work. Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
This is your song.
Okay, but typically, if you're trying to input something and nothing is working, click N. N takes you into note mode. N for note. And you can start inputting stuff. The numbers control the note value. So if I want quarter notes is a 5. Anything up, you go up the numbers. Anything down, you go down the numbers. So I am going to use quarter notes for my Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then it's just a matter of clicking the note names on the keyboard. I am going to do E, D, C, C. I don't actually know the melody for Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm just clicking random notes. There you go. I want a half note here. I'm going to click 6. That's going to be an F, and it's going to automatically tab it to the bar line. Now the shortcuts, which are useful. First of all, I can use the arrow keys to maneuver around the score. If I forgot to do something with a note, I don't have to click back to it. My favorite shortcuts are the accents, because oftentimes you will need to transcribe accents. This will be in a sheet that we will share with you at the end, but staccato is Shift plus S for staccato, and accent is Shift plus V for the accent but sideways. Marcato is Shift plus O, I don't know why. Tenuto, Shift plus N, etc. We will send this to you. I can also add a crescendo with the increase symbol greater than less than.
The ones that kind of look like the crescendo and crescendo.
How do I exit out of the crescendo? I think I just need to click out of it. That's fine.
Yes.
Cool. But you can change all of these shortcuts. I think Toshio is going to talk about that. What else can I do here?
The nice thing about adding crescendos and decrescendos, if you select the notes that you want the crescendo or decrescendo over, can you show them how to do that?
Absolutely. To select a section, you can either just click and drag. Whoops, no you can't. Click Shift and then click and drag. It'll form this little box and you can select whichever notes you want. Or you can select one note, hold Shift, and select the note where you want the box to end.
And then if you add a crescendo in over that, it will add that crescendo under that selection of notes.
Shift, increase. Cool.
Same for accents too.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, yes, I knew
Same for
this.
all articulations.
Just select Shift V, everything is accented now. Perfect. Another way you can manipulate crescendos. If you miss, I don't know what I just opened. You can click Shift and increase. And if you keep holding Shift and play around with the arrow keys, it's gonna change the position of the crescendo. So something weird opens like this, just put it back, it's fine. What else was I supposed to go over? Not a lot.
How can I change the instruments?
Ooh, this is fair. My favorite way to do that, you can click a bunch of stuff, but you could also click I for instruments, and it brings you back to the instrument menu. You can either add instruments here or subtract instruments here, like you just did. But if you want to actually change the sound of the instrument halfway through, let's say in measure 3, I want my saxophone player to play a flute, there is an option in the text menu that says change instrument. I will add that, and it brings me to the same menu where I can force my saxophonist to play flute. And it will sound as such
Oh, man.
in the playback. Is there a playback here? No,
Oh,
there's not.
the volume is down.
Oh.
Man, I hate that thing so
No. Down here.
There you go.
It's not very high level land, but it makes sense. Overall, these palettes are your best friend. They've got everything. They've got, what is pitch? Oh, octave stuff. They've got tempo markings, which you can always edit. If I want my thing to be at 2,000 beats a minute, I can totally do that.
And it will work for playback too.
Don't make real players do that,
But you are free to explore that. I don't think I have anything else to talk about actually, unless any questions about basic input. Notes, rhythms, dynamics are also in here. If you scroll down, I think, unless you need to add them. No, they're right here.
I will say also the select set number of measures. There's a lot of functions you can do with that. You can change the octave by pressing control up or down, right?
I press shift, I select, I press control or command on y'all Apple people's devices, and the up arrow key.
Does anybody here have a Mac? Okay,
You.
just to make sure, because if everybody here had Windows, then we would need the extraneous information.
If I just press up or down, it's gonna go by semitones.
You can also drag the whole selection up or down if that's faster. Like if you want to go by like, I don't know, like a fifth or something, it's faster just to drag it down as opposed to.
One important thing about that though is I find that if you drag notes down, often what can happen is if those notes had accidentals on them, it can get rid of the accidentals,
Yes.
right? So be very careful about when you're doing that because it might delete some of that information that you've added to those notes.
It also, when you're dragging, it keeps the intervals between those pitches the same. So if you're going like, if you like press down over a selection,
One moment. And select these two notes. They are a tone apart. Press down.
yeah. So you'll notice here, this is still a tone apart. So if you wanted this diatonic, you'll have to make that adjustment by hand.
Which is either select it and bring it up to get rid of the flat, or up here there's a natural sign that you can add. It depends.
And if you get like enharmonic equivalents, I think it's Control J or J in one of those. Yeah, like C sharp will come before.
Let's try C sharp and I press J. Oh, J for enharmonic. I like it. Wow.
We're all learning things today.
Yeah.
Dude, just gave me a D double flat.
So if you get like your, double sharp, double flats.
Which sometimes you want.
Sometimes they're J. Depends on what key,
Any other things about basic input? That's enough for me then. Gerald?
Hello.
Hi, Gerald.
Yeah, sometimes they're just like some basic Musescore isms. They tend to do these hanging paragraphs kind of things a lot, which is like you're never supposed to do that. Standard practice. So one thing I find handy a lot of the time is on the same system. So you don't have,
I didn't know that either.
The layout tools are super handy.
yeah, layout
Yeah.
tools are really good. And now we have a whole, I'm pointing at my computer.
Illegible
We have a
software.
whole system on a separate page. And I've kind of jigged it, so, cause I've already formatted it, but, yeah, I made the staff size smaller. So if you have extra systems, you could always change the staff spacing, which will kick it all onto the same page. So that it's all neat and tidy like this. Especially if you have one instrument, parts, and you want to keep it all on one page and not have a giant space on the second page, that is handy. On the note of parts, you could do similar things, especially when you have multiple pages and you want to get a page turn in and you don't want to do it over all the music. That page layout tool is really helpful for splitting where you want to. So if I had no page layout there, you can see that the measures are all messed up. I think I had the page break here. So again, go into layout, page break. There you go. Now the players can flip over the rest and not play. What else? Oh yes, I see a lot of this in Musescore stuff, where you got the number over the single measure of rest. So again, go to style. It'll open up rests, and that would be over here. You can change that either to 2, or depending on how much you want to start. Multi-measure rest, and then you can click option number 1. And my computer is slow. And there we go. Now the number 1 is not over that.
It's the Mac that's bogging down your computer.
Yeah, this is that giant file. Here it is. This is my big giant score for the wind ensemble. And obviously, there are a lot of instruments. And a lot of people always,
How are you zooming in and out?
oh, on the touchpad, pinch in, pinch out.
On the mouse wheel.
Yeah.
And control everything.
It's very intuitive.
Control plus or control minus.
Yeah.
There's a zoom
Where?
option somewhere up.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, down here.
Hold control on this
Yeah.
one.
My windows are all weird. There we go.
Otherwise, it doesn't.
This is another thing I see a lot is people just don't know where to put their measure numbers when they have large scores like this. So I like to put them on the bottom and have them on every measure. So the way you do that, double click, style. This style panel has everything. So if you don't want to change individual things in this, in the properties panel, like if you're clicking on a note and you go to properties and you change every single note, you don't have to do that. You can go to the style window, by just double clicking, and then you can go to like notes and it'll change literally anything. But back to measure numbers, on big scores, I like to have the position to the measure, or you can have them at the beginning, but on scores, I like to have them in the middle. That's where that was, and this would be below system, because above system, sometimes they can interfere with the piccolo notes or flute notes. So having them below system will make rehearsal so much easier. And then obviously, rehearsal markings will be in text, A, B, C. Sometimes when you're editing scores, your rehearsal markings can get mixed up. You'll have like A and then AA and then B and then D and then C. You can go to tools and then resequence rehearsal marks, and that will reset them all to A, B, C, D, etc.
You also change the name of properties, so you can have it say like,
This,
so if you have properties, you can actually just change the text that it puts in there.
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Change
put
the numbers.
This is new. This little text box,
Yeah.
very handy, so you don't have to go to properties.
That's
Oh yeah, you can add symbols,
Yeah, the
symbols.
little text box.
Alex, you gotta convert to 4, I'm saying.
You can change it to bar numbers too, so
Yeah.
if you want, like, in the big rehearsal numbers, they'll change it to whatever bar that's on, which is quite useful.
Yeah. Depends on your preference.
Yeah.
So, I would say just experiment with, with things like this. Ooh.
This is
Not
incredible.
responding. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Talking about percussion,
Okay.
Um,
I'm outdated.
a lot of people, when they do their cymbals, don't really know how to do the let vibrate symbol, or they just add a slur, and the slur would connect to like a rest or something. But if you turn on in this toolbar, that is French, and I'm not going to pronounce that. Basically means let vibrate. So if you have cymbals and stuff, I just turn that on. You can see it pops up here. And my computer's exploding. So that will pop up there, and then whenever we have symbols, where it goes. Yeah, oh no.
That's a very specific thing. You will probably not need to let your cymbals vibrate in any of your courses.
Well, I've been told about that like multiple times or something. But yeah, like one of these, like, you know. Yeah, just experiment. Like, it's very customizable, like whatever you want to look. If you want to look at foot pedals or whatever. I don't need double hole notes in my toolbar, so yeah, yeah. All that stuff.
If you're doing counterpoint, maybe.
Yeah. Voices are handy. I usually only need 2 voices.
What do the voices do?
I can explain.
Yeah.
So voices is something, it's basically, I would use it if you have,
Plug into you again.
it's okay, I don't think it's that complicated. It's basically if you have on one staff multiple parts. So in choral music, for example, if you want the soprano and alto voices on the same staff, and then the tenor and the bass voices on the same staff, which happens sometimes, you can use the voice function, where if you have it, really quick. If you have it clicked on voice 1, then the notes you click will be in voice 1, and then you click to voice 2, and it will add an additional layer of voices underneath, and that will be voice 2. And so things like note durations don't interfere with each other, things like rests don't interfere with each other, so it makes it really easy to do that. And Musescore supports up to 4 voices on one staff at a time, if you really want to get crazy with it.
And that's also helpful if you want to do cues, because you should have the rest of your main instrument, and then on the separate voice you can do cue notes, which you can mix with. Yes.
When you're running on the piano part, let's say you want like, I don't know, like pinky to hold a note and then you want other stuff to move, do you use voices for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's another case where that gets really useful, where you can have, this part of the hand doing something, and this part of the hand doing something else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or like divisi parts if you're writing for like clarinet, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
combo or-
like you can see that right here.
Yeah.
This is a separate voice, and then you have whatever.
Because otherwise, Musescore would be like, you're already holding a whole note, so you can't put other notes in that voice. So you gotta use multiple, and that's all good.
If for some reason your voices are doing something funky and like you want to switch one voice to be stems up or stems down, just select that measure or note and click X and it'll flip it for you. Same thing goes for dynamic markings or text. X just reverses the position above or below the staff.
Does that work differently for piano? Because like there could be a time when you hold it.
No, it works the same. Works the same.
So you have to put each different note on a different voice?
No, you don't have to. If you're holding you can have multiple notes in the same voice. So let's say you want to hold a chord while also playing a brief melody with like your thumb or something. You can write in one voice the chord as like a whole note, and then you can write in the other voice the melody that you want to write.
Is there a way to like control A, all the notes in just one voice, or?
No, I've never done that. It's either you get all the notes in one measure.
Yeah. Although they might update it soon.
Who knows?
The other thing you can do is if you hold control and click each individual note, you can do that, and then like it could be literally any note in any measure. You can individually select certain notes, so that's one way you can do it as well, if you want to move stuff around in a complicated measure.
And the properties is, someone mentioned like above or below position, like They have,
Somewhere, I remember seeing it before.
yeah,
Yeah.
position, this will be helpful for like dynamics, expression text,
Oh.
whatever. You can put it above or below the staff.
Apparently there is, after you control A to select everything, if you right click, there'll be a pop-up that says same voice.
Oh, yeah.
That would sweet.
I just- I
There
never
is a
used
way
it.
to select.
You could, yeah, they get specific with it, so you could say, oh, if you wanna select everything that's the same pitch, and then you can do that. And then you can, yeah. do
It's a
whatever.
powerful program.
It is.
It's something that's free.
Okay, Ricky, you're good.
I thought it was Doshi.
Sure, I can do that.
I don't know how much funding has to do,
A lot of what Ricky has is relating to formatting.
but it's like, I think you covered most of what I wanted to see.
You can cover line spacing, like how to make 4 measures per line, if there's 5,
Okay.
and the page breaks.
And then obviously additionally, once we've gone through the stuff that we've prepared to talk about, we can talk about more if there's any other questions about different elements that maybe we touched on, and we're like, oh yeah, this thing, and you went like, I don't know what that is, so you bringing it up is not helpful. And so we can go over some of those more details as well.
So there's a few things you can do with Musescore, which makes things quite nice for courses. So this is a score reduction that I did for the romantic analysis course with D'Souza. One of the things that he requires is Roman numeral analysis on the thing, which he said you can do it handwritten if you would rather. I find it easier just to get it all done in one program though. So as you can see, I've got Roman numerals under all of these chords, right? It's not terrible for it. The only thing to get this, so you select where you want it, and then you go to add text, and then underneath it's Roman numeral analysis. Typically, it doesn't have a shortcut to it. But you can map a shortcut to it if you go to preferences, and then shortcuts. And then you can scroll and find whatever you want, or you can search like Roman numeral analysis, and then you can map a shortcut to it. So for me, I've done Shift K, which I find useful, especially if you're doing large amounts of Roman numeral analysis and you have like a bunch of things going on and on. The only thing about that is that you can't do extended tonicization yet, which is annoying. So you'll see right here, I said extended tonicization in G, but Musescore can't do the regular bar, so it's all bracketed. So everything that I put in brackets is my extended tonicization. Everything else about this is like pretty much what the others have said. So like, I don't know, notes, voices, whatever.
How do you type in the different chord symbols, like diminished versus half diminished?
That's a great question. For diminished, it's very intuitive. It's the letter O. So if I wanted to make a 1 diminished chord, I would just take 1 O and then it kind of diminishes that. Not sure how to make half diminished.
Hit 0, I just found that 2
I think
seconds
it's
ago.
0.
Oh, goat!
We're learning so much, Noah.
Yes. Most of this stuff is pretty. It gets comfortable once you get used to it. You'll see I've noticed I've notated where the cadences are, for example. That I've just done with texts, because that's not what the Roman numeral thing. That's just a text thing. Don't save. I already submitted it. Here is a transcription that I did a while back for solo. You'll notice over the top, instead of Roman numerals, I've written chord symbols. There is a shortcut for this, and it's very useful, especially if you're writing any kind of like lead sheets, or if you're doing your own part writing, or if you're writing for a combo or whatever, right? Sorry?
Keyboard harmony.
Keyboard harmony, yes. And basically you select where you want the, oh, that's loud. You can select where you want it, and then it's Command or Control, depending on your system, and then K, right? And you can put any chord you want in there, right? So this would be an F dominant, or a major 7 chord, right? So I've done F, and then for the major 7, you could do it, the way I do it is just with the little, to the power of sign, but you could also do it with a capital M, I believe.
I just write mage.
Yeah, or
Mage
you
seven.
do mage 7, right?
Yeah.
Depends on your preference. For minor 7, same thing. They accept multiple inputs for a minor 7 chord, so if I wanted it to be like, if I did minor 7 like that, they'll read that. Or you could do minor 7 with a minus sign. Diminished 7, they'll do that, right? You could add a whole bunch of extensions, right? So let's say I want my F minor 7 flat 5, right? Which is basically just a half diminished chord, but that's not the point. That will just, it formats that quite nicely. You can add as many extensions as you want. Flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13, right? Whatever.
How do you hear how that sounds though?
Oh, turn up my volume.
Oh.
That was it. And then you can select any of these and it'll sound, right? That's your F minor, or E minor 7 flat 5, right? 2 5 1, 2 5 1.
Yay.
Get rid of that combination.
I actually really like the sound of that.
It will play back
Yes.
the chords as you're playing the lead sheet. Oh yeah, how do you play a score? We missed
Oh,
that part.
that's great. You can do, there's a couple different ways. So let's say I'm just going right from the top, right? You can go right from the top, and you can press either play right here, right? Or let's say you only wanted to hear, say, this, like from here, right? Or from like the second chorus, right? Let's say I wanted to hear from the second chorus. So you select where that is, and it plays. It's very nice, and you can hear the chords over top.
If you don't want to hear the chords over the top, there is a way to change that. But
Yes, it's in the mixer. I hardly know it. Chords, trumpets, you can turn that all the way down, or you can mute it, or you can, alternatively, you can like only hear the trumpet voice, S for solo, I think. But let's say I wanted to mute the chords, right? Then I can go and close that, and then, right, there's no chords over top anymore, which is nice.
the mixer generally is a good tool.
Yes. Yes. And then let's say I've got a score where I only want to hear just the trombone part, right? Then you can select only that trombone, and it will only play the trombone. And chords, right? Compared to if I have everyone playing, right? I just select from there. Right? You can get all the voices. Or you can select, maybe I only want the trumpet and the tenor sax. You can get both of those two voices, right?
And spacebar is player stop.
Yes.
Without spacebar.
Spacebar is the easier version of this button. Or you can rewind a little bit. You could loop whatever you're wanting to do. Add a metronome. There's a whole bunch of settings you can do with it. Cool. Cool.
Since we got 10 minutes overtime.
Yeah. Oh,
That's fine.
I do have one last thing about the chord symbols. For example, let's say you're writing over a piano part. You can just select the bar that you want to fill, and like if you just want you don't have the chords, but you just want like a solo over it, you can do tools and fill with slashes, right? And it does exactly that. Okay. Any questions after two?
No,
Where will this be posted? Where will this be posted?
Probably your guys' Instagram.
Okay. Just because I have to leave tomorrow for precisely.
No. Are you guys gonna stick around?
Something I would just.
Okay. I just wanted to check. Okay, so I'm just gonna talk really quickly about using different sounds in Musescore. So the default sounds in Musescore are okay, but they're not great. And I think we can all appreciate that maybe there might be something better out there. So I'm gonna introduce you to the mixer. So I'm just gonna pull up here's a flute. Right? The mixer. So you go to view, mixer, one with the faders on the side there. It's gonna pull this up for you. And this is basically how you can control various elements of audio playback. This is useful more than for your own reasoning. For example, I submitted a composition for the choral composition for the SLCC, and they wanted an audio file to go with the music. And the thing about Musescore is certain elements do playback, but not the way that you might want it to. For example, I had fermatas that would last too long, or they last too short, or they just didn't sound good. So I like to go in and make a specific audio track. And so like I have my print version and I have my audio playback version where I can download a good audio file, and the mixer is your best friend in making sure that it sounds exactly how you want it to. It's got all sorts of things. So labels, that's just on the left side that tells you what things are. Sound, that's where you're actually going to change what sound the instrument does during audio playback. Audio effects is things like reverb. I have Melodyne on there for some reason, but it's like things that you've downloaded that you can use. The auxiliary sends, that's where each track is sending to an effect file, or an effect channel, which are these two channels here. Pan, that changes it left and right. So if you want it to be more on the left or on the right, you can pan it. Volume is like a numerical volume changer, and then your fader, that's the slider there, right? That goes up and down. Mute and solo is pretty straightforward. You can mute a track so you can't hear it. You can solo a track or multiple tracks, so you can only hear those tracks in playback. And then the name is just what it's called at the bottom, right? So to get new sounds, I'm gonna pull up an example here. Here's an arrangement I was making for fun of a percussion ensemble arrangement, and I wanted to use boom whackers, right? Now, one thing about Musescore is even if you go to all instruments, they don't have boom whackers as an instrument, period. So I renamed it myself, which you can just do here, right? You can rename the long and short name. But I wanted a boom whacker sound to go with it because I loaded it in as a marimba part. So, oh no. Musescore's doing that thing where if you plug it in after opening it, it changes the audio to be an octave lower or higher. Anyways, while that's reopening, let's get a new boom whacker sound. So, the file that Musescore uses is SF2 files or sound fonts, which are basically just musical samples and MIDI data incorporated into a file that the program uses during playback. In order to get new sound font files, you want to download them from somewhere safe, and downloading things off the internet obviously is always a bit of a you don't know what can happen. So one safe website that I would recommend is called musicalartifacts.com. And this is a free open source website where people can upload their own sound fonts, and you can download them. One thing you will probably want to do is check, because sometimes in the information it'll say like, oh, please credit me if you're using this for work or something like that. Please give me credit for the sounds. So keep that in mind if you're using these things, because they are free and open source, so you want to respect that. But let's look up boom whacker, and there's one. So I'm gonna get that. So I download it on my computer. I'm going to open it in File Explorer, go to Downloads, and here it is here. So I'll cut it so it doesn't stay in my downloads. I'm going to go to Documents. I'm going to find Musescore 4 or 3 in my Documents folder. I can open that up, and then there's a Sound Fonts folder. I can open that up. You can see I have quite a few. And I can paste my downloaded sound font into that. Now, I'm gonna reopen Musescore because I believe that if it's open, then you put it in, it won't register it until you reload it. So I'm gonna reopen it. I'm gonna open my, my score here, Boommaker Music, and these two are my Boommaker cards. So I'm gonna go here, it says MS Basic. When you open up the sound channel here, it shows you the top one is where it's currently pulling from. Then this one is some of your downloaded. Musescore has like, through the new News Hub thing, they have their own like Bible and downloadable sounds that they have. So you can also check out those if you'd like. Some of them are free. I don't know how good they are, so you can try it yourself. I've heard mixed things. There's other downloaded audio that you might have. And then the last one is those sound font files you have in that folder. So if I go here, I can find Boommaker, select it. I'll do the same for my other one. So I've got both Boommakers. And now when I go here, now they're Boommakers. Yay. And that's how you input new sound files. So you can use different sounds. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there, especially on musical artifacts. There's lots of stuff from like classic video games. I got like the Minecraft note block sound font, so I can make music with the Minecraft note blocks if I want to. It's a lot of fun and genuinely useful. This marimba sound that I use, I didn't really like the default Musescore marimba sound, so it didn't work. Okay, I was gonna show it to you, but anyways, I got one that I liked better, and now I use that one instead. So here we go.
I just remembered a couple more shortcuts. I don't know if you want me to put in.
Go for it.
A little more basic. Dynamics, Control D, makes sense. And then it'll give you the, I don't know. I don't know if you mentioned this. Here's a chord. Yeah, we can click.
The
Control
notes,
D.
you actually have to like click the note, so it's a
Yeah.
little tough to select.
There's your method forte. And then if you start with, let's say you want to build that chord. Let's make it a chord. You can do Shift G, it'll add the G. Shift B, it'll add the B. Shift E, it'll add the E. If you do Alt, and then one of the numbers, it'll add that interval. So there's your octave. Yeah, that's all I just remembered, but very, very helpful. I don't think it does it, I don't know if it does major or minor, but maybe it does it whatever the key signature is.
If you select the accidental before you add the note, it'll add it just with the accidental on it.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
Like, let's do E sharp, why not? And then, if you wanna do a new note, let's say you want a D sharp, select the sharp, then Shift G, you'll have the D sharp, which you can't get on, this is the clarinet. Yeah, obviously, concert pitch, can change that, so we're in concert C. Yeah, I just remember those.
The whole thing about Musescore is that if you copy paste from like flute into clarinet, it'll automatically transpose.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it. We are technically out of time. Does anyone have questions?
At a time for the lecture, if you've got questions, we've got an hour for that actually.
This is true.
We can also answer some of the non-necessary questions possibly.
Yeah.
Or if you guys have like specific examples that you wanted to pull up and have questions about that, you can also do that.
I kind of put that in the anonymous.
Let me forward the anonymous question.
Wow, not anonymous anymore.
Did I close them? Oh, I didn't. They're just blue. Easy way to transpose, as discussed.
Control.
Select everything, either arrow key up or down, or copy paste into a different part if you're transposing a part.
Or you could go to Tools, Transpose, you could do it chromatically, you could do it by interval, up or down, but, you could do it diatonically, up or down.
But again, watch the accidentals, because sometimes it
Mhm.
does.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend anytime you're taking a piece of music and translating it at all, give it a double check and see if anything's changed.
Visually or audibly, you can just play the file.
have strumming patterns for guitar. I just learned this. It's in the arpeggios menu.
Really?
There are up and down arrows.
Oh.
Does it
Up
work
arpeggio,
on
down
playback?
arpeggio, up arpeggio, straight, down arpeggio, straight.
No,
That's
it does not work on playback to my knowledge.
If they're on like piano chords, it'll.
Arpeggio works if it's like, there's like a straightforward arpeggio on it, it'll arpeggiate it, but usually it doesn't sound very good. Like, it arpeggiates it on the beat, so it'll be like, if it's like, ba-da-da-da, which like, you might want to like, ba-da-da-da, right, and then arpeggiate to the beat, so sometimes it's useful, sometimes it's not as much for playback specifically. There's also, I mean, if you go to add palettes, there's a guitar palette and a fretboard diagram palette. I personally don't know how to write for guitar or how to read guitar music, so it's a little bit difficult for me to understand how useful those are, but I'm sure they are.
Similarly, you can take something written in standard notation and convert it to tabs. Again, I just don't know how good that is.
How do you do that?
You can take something written in standard notation and just select it, and then it's in the tools function, I believe.
Tools function.
I believe, or you can switch the instrument, might be the other way to do it.
Yeah.
Instrument and a guitar tabs. If I could find it, I can't find it. Layout, new instrument,
It should be in the clefs, is the tab option.
electric guitar tablature. That's
Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh.
That doesn't work for anything except for guitar.
Tab.
So if you're not writing for guitar, I won't let you do a tab.
Interesting.
Could be
Cool, I
useful
also
though.
saw-
yeah.
Had to do that for a week.
I'm just sticking on this. Let's do.
How do you text lines?
I think that's just a matter of dragging it around.
There's a lot of dragging around you need to do. The other thing would be, if you go to format and style, you can change some of your text settings. Staff text is in there, tempo text is in there, lyrics is in there. So messing around with those settings and trying to see what can help. Again, if you go into the style thing, it's got everything, which is like really daunting, but also means there's a lot of tools there that could help with certain things. You could change gaps and spaces between things and the way that they fit. So it's about playing around with it.
Oh, so you know, if you have multiple.
Thanks, guys.
Have a
If
good
you have
day.
multiple notes, you can go to tools, and explode.
Oh,
That's what that
And you
means!
can input it too,
Yes,
like
you
back
can.
into one measure.
Yes, you can.
Implode?
You can implode.
It'll
Oh
make
my
two
God.
Oh my god, I didn't know that! I just thought it would kill my computer.
It's like, dude, I'm done with this profile. Explode.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Wow. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And yeah, thank
If
you
you
so
have
much.
any other Musescore tech support questions, let us know. I guess we can
You have
stop
any fun
recording.
facts, like?
I mean, yeah.
Honestly, I'm so glad I was able to do this because I learned stuff I didn't know.
How do you stop this? Is it the red button?
Yeah, I know you can move them around and like put it up here.
It's so loaded.
Mixer